I was still pretty shook up from the last world when I started Trance. Trance's map music did nothing to ease the tension. As for how to describe it, have you ever heard the theme from Videodrome? That's the closest thing I can think of to compare it to. I checked to see who the new monster was, and it was Orga? A monster who didn't make his film debut till 2000, appearing in a game made in 1988. So much for my theories about Titanosaurus and Biollante. There's no way this game was made in 1988. Those guys at Toho may be smart, but I'm pretty sure they couldn't see that far into the future. If they could, they never would have gave Roland Emmerich the rights to make a Godzilla movie. No, this had to be a hack of some kind, which just opened up a whole other can of questions. Who made this hack? When, how, and most importantly, why? The why part was what bothered me most. My immediate assumption was that Billy did this to pull a prank on me. But that couldn't be right either. He didn't even know how to make a ROM hack. But if he did, he'd probably just do something simple and stupid. Unless Billy had amazing game editing skills and a serious dark side to his imagination he never told me about, he couldn't have made this. Is it even possible to put a hacked ROM into a cartridge? Aside from all that, my eyes were drawn to a new icon on the map, a question mark. I was really curious as to what it did, and I'm sure you're all also curious. So I'll explain the quiz levels now, since this is when they started appearing. There was always one per map from here on in, and they always appeared near the start. When you start on a quiz level, you appear at a screen like this. As you can see, there's a question at the top, and a yes and no button, and an emoticon in the centre. I'll refer to this emoticon as face. Real creative, I know. And as for convenience, I'll refer to face as the one asking the questions. The music for the quiz levels was an actual track in the game. It's the one that plays when you try to use the Ghidorah cheat and get sent to an unplayable level. Face asks you 12 yes or no questions, and you move your monster to the buttons for your answer. When you answer, the question disappears and Face changes expressions for about 8 seconds. He then goes back to neutral when a new question comes up. There was no time limit nor any right or wrong answers. Face has no respect for a player's privacy, and will sometimes ask you deeply disturbing questions. For example, do you like hurting people? Have you ever killed anyone? Have you ever been hurt by a family member? Other times he would just ask questions that were either mind-numbingly stupid, is the sun hot? Is water wet? Or just flat out ridiculous. Does your dog like the president? And maybe once per quiz, Face would ask you a question about the game. With one exception, Face's expression changes seem to have no effect on the game, except for indicating what the game creator thought of your answers. His reactions rarely made any sense, and at first I thought they were randomly generated. The questions never followed a pattern. Face never stayed on the same subject for more than 2 questions. Early on, there were questions that made me think Face was building up to something, only to then ask some stupid garbage. Here are the expressions Face did that I saw playing the game. The ones I understood, and the ones I did not understand. First are the expressions I understand. 1. Neutral, his default expression. 2. Angry. If you try to attack him, this is what his face changes to. 3. Sad. 4. Happy. 5. Sick. 6. Maniacal. Face made this expression when he was being an asshole. You'll see what I mean later. 7. Surprised. 8. Love. 9. Annoyed. 10. Confused. And 11. Guilty/hurt. And here are the others. 2 of these appeared only once. 12. And I suspected they might have been in-jokes from the creator. Their respective questions were, do you like ice cream? And are you a tough guy? As for the questions in the first quiz, luckily I had a notepad and pen handy. I have problems remembering things, so I often carry one around to jot things down, and sometimes I doodle in it when I'm bored. So when the first quiz started, I thought I'd record what happened. And I'm glad I did. Here are the first series of questions, my answers, and Face's reactions. Question 1. Do you like the game? Answer yes, reaction happy. Question 2. Are you afraid? Answer yes, reaction surprised. Question 3. Are you over 18? Answer yes, reaction weird face 5. Question 4. Do birds have teeth? Answer no, reaction love. Question 5. Is peanut butter good? Answer no, reaction sick. Question 6. Does the moon rotate? Answer yes, reaction weird face 11. Question 7. Have you had a job? Answer yes, reaction confused. Question 8. Do you like hurting people? Answer no, reaction annoyed. Question 9. Is the sun hot? Answer yes, reaction sad. Question 10. Do you like dogs? Answer yes, reaction happy. Question 11. Is the president good? Answer yes, reaction weird face 3. Question 12. Does your dog like the president? Answer no, reaction angry. Now that I've explained all that, time for the gameplay. After the quiz level, I tried the new green temple icon first. Wow. Maybe this is why the game was so weird. One of the designers was clearly drugged out of his mind. Jokes aside, I was quite impressed by the graphics of this level. As disorienting as they were, but I hate those creepy blank staring statue faces. The music had an hypnotic Indian techno vibe to it. There were 2 new enemies in this level, a flying ghost type thing with a trunk, and a bat with a horse skull for a face. They appear at random, but I was lucky to get a screen cap of them both. Then I proceeded to a Blue Mountain level, expecting another nice calm stroll. But I was completely taken by surprise when this happened. Not Mogera came speeding towards me and took off quite a bit of my health with his tentacle screws. It only took me 2 minutes to kill him, without having to worry about a time limit. But the boss monsters never showed up in the scrolling levels in the normal game. I was worried as to what the other rules the game might break. After another Blue Mountain stage, it was time to fight Not Varan, whose replacement was one of the most bizarre things in the game. This strange creature attacked you by kicking. It also opened up its chest to fire heat-seeking missiles. I still don't get it. The missiles were sometimes a pain to deal with, but I found out you could tail whip them out the way. Not Varan was probably the easiest of the monster replacements. The same could not be said for Not Hedorah. Apparently the source of the horse bats, Not Hedorah was the most aggravatingly difficult monster to fight yet, mostly because of his special ability. He could shriek and summon a small swarm of those horse bat things. I know there's only 2 in the screen cap, but every time he did this, about 10 would arrive. The AI took advantage of the distraction and attacked twice as fast while the horse bats were flying around. Once that annoyance was over with, I went through a green temple level to kill some enemies to restore my health. Interestingly, none of the horse bats showed up after I defeated Not Hedorah. And that was when I got an idea. If killing all the monsters makes the red face show up, what would happen if I avoid fighting Orga and go straight to the base? So I gave that a try. The game told me there was no monster there when I tried to start the base level, and immediately afterward, the game took control of my Godzilla piece and moved it in front of Orga. My little trick didn't work, so I tried to prepare myself for another chase, but first, I had to beat Orga. The fight with Orga confirmed another thing. Whoever created this game was clearly a Godzilla fan, not only because they picked a monster like Orga, but because they actually implemented something that happened in Godzilla 2000 in a neat way. Orga's primary attacks were a punch, and a heat beam from his shoulder cavity. But once you had got him down to half his health, he did something new. He would expand his jaws and try to swallow Godzilla, in the process stealing your health and energy. But in doing so, he gave himself a new weakness. Firing a heat beam into his mouth would take a devastating 4 bars off his life meter. And with that weakness revealed, I soon beat Orga, and despite how much I hoped otherwise, the red face appeared on the map where the base was, and the music stopped. I readied myself as best I could. I started the level, and after seeing that it was basically the same as the first, I didn't waste a millisecond before I started hauling ass. I soon encountered obstacles in the form of the ground tiles, suspended in the air. Most of them you could jump over or destroy, others you had to crouch under. About 40 seconds into it, I heard the horrible bellowing roar, and saw the spider beast following me. Stacks of obstacles barely slowed it down, as it would back up then charge its way through them, smashing them into bits, and when smaller obstacles got in his way, he would expand his jaws and swallow them whole. I was afraid, but with fast thinking and faster button pressing, I escaped him yet again. I felt really excited, so I laughed and said, "Not this time, asshole." I decided to take a screen cap to celebrate. But when I said that sentence, just before the level ended, the monster did something that made my blood run cold. It looked at me. That wave of mortal terror took me again. And I sure as hell wasn't laughing anymore. I took another screen cap of the next level title, right before I rushed to the bathroom to splash some water on my face, and to take a piss that I nearly failed to contain when the thing looked at me. After returning to my couch, I reluctantly started the next world. Dementia.